It is Tuesday, June 25th, 2013, and today's screenshot of the day comes from John Spiegel during the Phase 3 beta. He looks like he's found a pumpkin batch. Good morning, Eorzea. Now Celestine here. Now, we don't have too much on the lines of new news for everybody, but I did bring on another guest again. Please welcome back Elliot.
Hello again, everybody.
Well, it's great to have you back. So, why don't you tell me a little bit of what you've been doing in the meantime?
In between beta tests and staring longingly at beta tests and looking back over my screenshots and, all that stuff, I've mostly been working, starting up some new projects, and playing the Old Republic.
What kind of new projects? Or can you talk about those yet?
I cannot talk about them yet, but it's all neat stuff that will probably, when I can talk about it, it should be of interest.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with the beta, especially because this weekend that just passed, they allowed people to bring back the old characters again.
I still have the little leather-bound notebook that they gave out with the original 1.0 Collector's Edition, and one of my big goal this weekend was just to log on to my original character and start noting all of the things that I was going to need to do as soon as we went into open beta, and there was not going to be another character wipe. So all the classes I really need to start leveling, and items I need to get rid of, things I need to clear out of my bank, everything I need to do once open beta starts, I was taking note of that. Didn't actually get a chance to level on her much, but I got a chance to plan out what I need to do.
Well, okay then. How about comparison notes then? Because I know that you played Phase, not Phase 1, but the weekend prior, and you remade your character, and then you finally got to see what they looked like. What was the comparison between the two?
I actually found out that, and this might sound weird, when I remade Rio, I made her a lot darker this time around. I made her skin a few notches darker, which I kind of liked better, so I'm glad that they're giving us a chance to adjust all of our characters' appearances again before the game goes live, because that's one of those things that I think I'm going to change in the classic version as well.
I can understand that. Nell's hair came out pink. For those of you who don't know, and if you're not sure, feel free to go look at some of my earlier episodes. My closing image was a picture of my character sitting down, and you'll notice that my hair there is a purple with a slight blue tint. I very meticulously picked that color scheme in 1.0. When I loaded up my character, it was a pinkish purple with more pink than purple in it.
I'm kind of glad I did not see Nell over the course of the weekend.
There's a reason why I didn't play her that much. But that's another reason why I'm glad that we're allowed to change stuff in a little bit. I'm looking forward to that. Just because when they ported them over, since the whole character creator changed, a lot of the options probably don't click properly now. So I can imagine some people will probably even have completely different colored eyes than what they originally had or something.
One of the things that I noticed while playing around with the character creator, which I liked very much, was that previously, I think it was Doomsfolk and Makote could have heterochromia with their eyes. At this point, you can do it for any race, or at least any race that I saw.
And it's not limited to this choice of heterochromia or that choice. You can actually pick what color you want for which eye.
Yep.
So if you want to have a white eye to show that character is blind in that eye, more power to you.
Yep.
Alright, so let's go on to another thing then. You said you were playing the beta a bit over the weekend. Was there anything that popped out to you?
One of the things that I did notice, because I got a little more time to play around with Marauder, actually, and I was very impressed by how, we know that, the revised system as it currently stands kind of has Marauder and Gladiator in the tanking roles. I think they kind of backed off from doing that with Pugilist, and it was interesting because I was wondering, how are they going to make the two work differently? Are they going to have a whole lot of the same abilities? And I was looking over the abilities, and it's like, you can make a perfectly functional tank if you've only leveled Gladiator, or if you've only leveled Marauder. But if you've leveled both of them, you have all of these extra tools that make it so much easier. So I was actually really pleased by seeing the interplay between these abilities, that, certain... And it wasn't just limited to that, but that was one that particularly stuck out at me as, if you've leveled both, you can make a better tank, but if you've only leveled one, you still make a good tank.
Well, I'm sure that'll definitely help motivate people to level multiple jobs, because as we know that you can play one character and level all the different jobs on it, so you're not limited to have to go through the storyline each time you want to play a different class. Now, how about the community, though? Anything interesting from your perspective there? Because I know that you're an active role player.
Yep, and there was a role-playing event, actually, on the beta on Saturday evening, which was just held as a big meet and greet for both new players and old, and it was a lot of fun. I got to meet some people I hadn't met before, say hello to some people that I did know before. It was not on one of the legacy servers, so that everyone could attend, even if they didn't already have a character on one of the legacy servers. It was just, it was a fairly simple event. It was just, everyone got together, had a few drinks, went exploring for a little bit, and then ended off at the hot springs, which produced most of the interactions you're probably thinking of. But it was a really great event. It was really well hosted. It was well run because it was just the bare minimum of structure, and then it just kind of let everybody else take things in whatever direction they were interested in.
Okay, I've also heard that there was a March of Lalafels as well over the weekend.
I did not get the chance to take part in that, but I've seen the screenshots from it, and I think it's a sign of how strong the community still is for the game, that you can get all these people together to just say, yeah, let's do this on the beta, let's just get into the game and do something fun.
I heard that Beohim is even there.
Yep. I saw some of his tweets about that.
That's pretty awesome. I'd love to get one of the people who helped organize that on here sometime to talk about that. So if you are listening, send me a message and let me know, and I'd love to interview you. So let's go on to another couple of subjects then. What have you noticed in particular? Because I know that you got to test out the beta early on when you were at the Square Enix meetings. What have you noticed has changed?
Well, one of the big changes that obviously anyone who's been playing will notice is that they've added the armory chest. Now, in my column on Saturday, I actually I was not critical of it exactly, but I said that I was upset with some elements of it, and I think there are some parts of it that are a little clunky, but I think on a whole, the way that the armory chest works really kind of encourages you to just collect gear that can be useful for your character, even if it's not useful for the class you're playing right that moment. And it strikes a good balance between giving you enough space so that you have more gear available, and not giving you so much space that your inventory is completely irrelevant.
That does look and honestly feel a lot better, but there's some times where I can imagine the armory chest might be abused a little bit.
There are elements of, but I think I think the storage size could be a little smaller than it is, probably, but I think it's big enough that you can store basically a full set for all of the individual classes, plus a couple of more specialized sets if you need them. And I think over time you'll probably see that, or players will experience that, that's about the right number. I think it might need a little tweaking here and there, but I think it's about right.
So it would be more so for, this is my build for this, and this is my build for that, so I don't need all the builds to be carried over at one point.
Right.
I can carry, my build for this job or that job, but not have to carry a different set of gear, for every possible situation.
Which is one of the things that Yoshida has said is not being ported over from Final Fantasy XI. Whoever has played that probably remembers how you would... I remember on my White Mage when I would, switch over to all my MP regeneration gear and then switch over to everything else as soon as situation changed. Or swapping gear in the middle of battle to do the most damage on a given weapon skill.
I would have to say the one thing that I remember the most from 11 in regards to gear swapping is that we never saw our tank. Our tank would start the fight, and then they would disappear, and you would not see them again until the end of the fight.
Personally, the thing I remember most about Final Fantasy XI in parties was just watching everyone's refresh status like a hawk as I played my red mage, but that's neither here nor there.
Alright then, well let's make a couple of closing statements. What would you suggest to improve the beta, as well as what are your thoughts for where this is going?
Okay, to improve the beta, the biggest thing I would offer is there are a lot of useful cross-class skills, but I'd like to see more ways that we could customize our characters. Even if it's just one or two traits that we could import from another class, I think that would go a long way toward making each individual class feel more distinct. Right now, barring side abilities from other jobs, every Nell and Rio, both, at the same level, in the same gear, are going to have the same abilities as a Marauder, and the same skills and the same advantages. I'd like to see a little bit more variety there based on player choice. But as for where it's going, I'm planning on writing a column about this, but I'm really impressed by both how the community team and Square in general has turned around the overall impression of this game, and I'm really impressed by just how alive it is. Both myself and my wife have played the beta, and after we play it, we want to play more even after the test is ended, even though we know all our progress is going to be wiped. And that says something right there.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to leave the floor open then. Feel free to leave in the comments what you think is a suggestion for both what you think could improve the beta, what you want to see come out of the game, and most particularly what you had the most fun with if you're in the beta, or what you're looking forward to if you're not. Alright, did you have any closing statements you wanted to make?
No, I think I said most of it. Please read my columns if you haven't, because I talk about this more there, and listen to the backlog of Good Morning Eorzea, because it's great.
Awesome, thank you very much. Alright, then that's all the time we have for today's show. As always, you can leave any positive or negative comments in the box below. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter. If you do have any comments, suggestions, or screenshots, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can use the YouTube private messaging or the official Lodestone topic. As always, this is Now Celestine and my guest,
Elliot Lefebvre,
bidding you adieu.